You got a minute to talk, or you're?
Sure.
So, the infamous vampire squid, Matt Taibbi.
I love the vampires.
Other than Hunter S. Thompson, this is my idol, so just let you know. What do you think? You're seeing up close the ground zero Trump.
I mean, I have a lot of reservations about conventions in general. I think there's a lot of sort of fake pageantry that goes on. But look at the scene. There's way more press than there are protesters here. Something's up, and I was just talking to somebody, Cleveland's a city that's been devastated by serious economic problems. We finally have 1 million journalists in this city, and what are we doing? We're looking at a few prearranged, kind of like dog and pony show.
We're focusing on Melania Trump's speech.
Exactly, on minutia, and we all know why it works that way, is because that's what sells, and people are going to click on a story about Melania Trump, maybe plagiarizing a piece of her speech. And we all know why we don't cover the foreclosure crisis in Cleveland, because that's complicated and difficult and boring, right? So, but this is just like an exaggerated, parodized version of that divide in the media.
I want to ask you about Trump, because you come back in the day, you were in Russia. You lived there for a while, obviously as oppressive as they get in many ways. What are the parallels?
Well, there was a very close parallel to Trump in Russia when I lived there, a guy named Vladimir Zhirinovsky, who was really kind of an actor, but he sort of played the role of a racist strongman, and he garnered a significant amount of support in Russia. But, Russia was really a mob state where the key decisions were really made internally. The secession from Yeltsin to Putin, that was all done, behind closed doors, smoke-filled rooms. Trump, as crazy as he is and as much of a race baiter as he is, this really happened. He legitimately overtook, an insider Republican Party without their consent. They didn't pick him, and so this is a real rebellion of sorts, and it's interesting. I don't agree with it, but it's notable.
And on the other side, you wrote a great piece that the Democrats, because they got rid of Bernie, are going to learn all the wrong lessons. What do you think in terms of the Democrats just going to learn? Oh, that little progressive outcry we had, it's gone now, so let's go back to business?
Absolutely. Look, that's what this convention is. This is not a coronation of Donald Trump. This is really a coronation of the Democratic Party as the one-party state going forward. I mean, the story here is that the Republicans killed themselves. They blew themselves up with this inability to organize themselves. They're cleaved in half. Nobody can see how they can repair it for the next 5 to 10 years. So for the foreseeable future, at the White House level anyway, the Democrats are going to have complete and total reign of the White House, and they're going to be smug about it, right? I mean, in their mind, they put down the rebellion on the Bernie side, and the Republicans are in shambles. So who do they have to answer to? Nobody anymore, right? And I don't think that's a positive development. I mean, as much
as they answer to the donors.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, as much as I'm not a Republican, I've never liked the Republicans, but the collapse of the Republican Party, I don't think is a positive thing, because politicians need to have some check on each other, and if this is a clown show that's going to be completely discredited by everybody, George Will, David Brooks, they're all on the same team now. How is that good? I don't know.
And real quick, obviously, you were saying all the media here is focused on the minutia. There's new bubbles about to pop. You got the student loan crisis about to pop. All these other things. What are you worried about economically?
I mean, all of that stuff, and I think you could say that the real estate crisis might be the next bubble. It was the last one, and it might also be the next one. The same kinds of things that were happening and before 2008 are happening again.
You mean Dodd-Frank didn't fix it?
No, of course Dodd-Frank didn't fix it. I mean, we have the problem with REITs, these real estate trusts it's the same kind of investment that's based upon this, mixing and disguising of risk. All that stuff could be a problem, but again, that's a complicated story. So there won't be any eyes on it. I mean, the last time I covered a convention in 2008 was right in the middle of when the financial crisis was happening, and nobody paid any attention to it. I mean, Lehman Brothers was collapsing, and the cream of the political crop was totally ignoring it because they didn't get it, and that's what will inevitably happen. And the next time we have a financial crisis is, the press will be elsewhere because that story is too hard.
Anytime you want to come onto the Young Turks, we'll get as complicated as you want. Thanks, brother. Yeah, I will. Thanks, man.